Camp Kangiusaq, which is a couple of hours away from Nuuk, inside the fjord, and we're actually on our way there now to break some sea ice. There's an unusual amount of sea ice this year, so we have to help it on its way. Kangiusaq is deep in the heart of the Nuuk fjord, about 90 or 100 kilometers away from Nuuk, which takes a little over 2 hours with our fast boats. It's important to break the ice this year, especially because in February there was a huge amount of glacier ice that came out due to mild weather and a storm, and that glacier ice is packed into the fjord, and then it got cold again and it's frozen together. So you've got a few kilometers of small glacial ice pieces frozen together with sea ice. And if we're going to be able to open in time, we need to get in the last week of May and start setting up. And yeah, I don't think that will happen naturally this year. We have Kangiusaq as a base for our camp, which we call Camp Kangiusaq. And we have kayaks in there, we have a boat to go fishing, we have some hiking expedition options, and then we just have a all-inclusive kind of adventure base camp that's relatively easy to get to, but completely isolated, and we have it all to ourselves. Ice is pretty thick. We've got our progress completely stopped now, so we're driving in circles to try and chop it up, but this thing gets getting thicker further in, and it's also full of these glacier trees. continuing the job. And you can see that all the ice around is cracked up because we have to go in and back and zigzag all around to break it up into small pieces so that the tide and the currents and the wind will hopefully take it out of the fjord so that we can get back in when we need to. The camp is about 6 kilometers that way, so there's a lot of ice between us and the camp. It's strong enough to walk over, but we have a lot of things we need to transport in, so we need to be able to get in by boat. So breaking up the ice now and maybe once or twice more will mean that the sea ice leaves the fjord quicker, and that's important this year because there's been a large amount of sea ice that's formed since February. There was some mild weather in February. A lot of sea ice and glacier ice came out of the ice fjord, which is on the other side of the mountains. Some of that came in here, cooled down the sea a lot in here and froze it all over. So we have more than double the amount of sea ice we'd normally have for this time of year. So it's important that we can break it up, let it flush out of the fjord so that we can get in here with our boats later on. There's quite a lot of life in this fjord, especially come summer. There's some seagulls sitting on the ice down here, and I think they're from the bird cliffs over here. They come, seagulls, cormorants, even peregrine falcons and other birds, they come and nest on this cliff. It's a sheer south-facing cliff, so it's free of snow very early. Otherwise, you've had whales come into the fjord, humpback whales, and we have a lot of reindeer around. And the national bird of Greenland, the northern diver, the great northern diver, we have some nesting around the camp, and the sound it makes, its call is amazing. Just on the other side of the mountains you have the ice fjord, and in there you have a lot of seals. So if you hike up and look down, you can sometimes see a seal, or on hikes in and out of the camp. Otherwise you have foxes, Arctic hares, ptarmigan. But definitely the reindeer and the foxes are the most common animals we see. So Greenland is pretty famous for polar bears, but polar bears, they need sea ice. And despite the fact that we're going through some sea ice now, it's only deep in the fjords here that you get sea ice. And actually the polar bear's range is both north and south of here. In the south you have this sea ice that comes around the coast and up the southwest coast. So typically you don't get polar bears around Nuuk. But last year there were a couple spotted. The Stoeties, the big ice from the east coast came further north last year. And so a couple of polar bears were seen all the way up here. And there was one night we emptied the camp as well, just in case, because there was a polar bear spotted 10 kilometers away. So just to be on the safe side, we took everyone home. But we do have other safety precautions in the camp. We're heading back to Nuuk. We're out of the Kangiusaq fjord and the sun is shining, so we're just cruising through the icebergs. It's about 4 hours home from here. The ice was a bit thicker than we expected, so we didn't break that much, so we're going to have to come back in again, but we did a good job. Now we're around here, heading back into the Nuuk Strait. We have been all the way in Kangiusaq. Our camp is around here, and the ice edge that we came to was around here, and we managed to break this far in. It was very thick. And so hopefully we'll come back in a week or so and get a little bit further in and let the tide and the warming weather do the rest. camp. Be ready for everyone that's going to come this year.